work at all. And it will be negative. It will be counterproductive, in my opinion. And I think that actually everyone in the organization has to go through that kind of process too. They have to step out of their job, walk back in with a fresh perspective, also have that kind of fundamental OKR understanding as they walk in with that fresh perspective. And those are probably the two biggest things for me, because cynicism can creep into an organization really easily when you bring in change like this.
Right.
And you want to avoid that as much as possible, because it can really kill it. And I think that we dealt with that a little bit initially, and then we were able to get through it.
We did. And I give little Paul some credit too. You all do the big get-togethers, and I had a chance to meet people socially, and begin to evangelize a little bit about OKRs. And but I think putting it in play and everyone just kind of going with it, everyone slowly but surely not only adopted it, but uses it as a valuable tool.
I'll say, Red Hat is an interesting place. Our culture is really unique, I think, in that we have a lot of bottom up. We have just as much bottom up as we have top down.
Sure.
Maybe even more bottom up, right? But it takes some top down to make this thing work too. It's not, for us at least, it wasn't easy. Right. I didn't just say, hey, let's do this. And everybody
went, sure,
I'm all in. It took a little bit like, well, we're going to do this. Right, so you're either going to get on the bus or you're going to get run over the bus. We had to do a little bit of that. But you can't get away with that and win if people feel like they're getting run over.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last question. So what was the one burning question that you had about Objectives and Key Results, OKR, and what was the answer that you found?
One burning question. For me, I would say the number one thing was, is this going to work for me?
Right.
Initially. So you have to ask me that question at various stages through the adoption curve here, really. Because the first thing was, is this going to even work? Right. Because I'll be really frank here and tell you that we had taken on a few things in the past in our organization that we thought, okay, this is going to make us better. And they failed. And we just, after, a year or so working on them, we just literally kicked them to the curb. We said, forget it. It's not working. We're going to move on to something else. And so I was initially, thinking we might have to kick this thing to the curb. I don't know if this is going to work. Really drawing back to my time at Sun Microsystems, I remember doing a similar exercise there. I was an emerging leader at my time at the end there. And so I was getting a little exposure to that, and I saw it, and it was clearly not going to work when I was there. I knew that it was going to be something they were going to kick to the curb. So initially I was a little frightened by it. So that was my initial burning question. I guess the second burning question I have, this again, assuming this is for this would be like an internal Red Hat audience answer, but will the rest of the company embrace it? Because I do now believe, as a card-carrying OKR fan, I believe at its best, the entire organization, top to bottom, left to right, the entire box of the organization has to embrace these to get the best out of it. One of my key results right now for my team that I'm measuring is to maintain talent at a certain attrition level and develop talent to certain skill levels. And that's really an HR kind of people and brand function. People and brand is our team name for that, for traditional HR. So it's important to me, and I need to implement the tools that they create to help get that job done. But if our HR organization is following kind of an OKR process, and they've got their key results that they're chasing, and I can cascade them kind of horizontally into my organization, and then all the way down through, it can be really, really successful. And our business units, which are indeed using these, so we see successes clearly with them. I do know our HR organization is using them. I think that we still have some area where we can improve both on the BU and HR side. Our marketing organization is beginning to look at them. And I tell you, I think you've seen specifically on our team, as we work on pipeline, when you ask those questions that I was talking about earlier, the questions really quickly get you into marketing. Pipeline and marketing lead gen. I mean, we quickly got into those sorts of questions, and it really forced our marketing organization and my organization, channel and inside sales organizations, to really get together and start peeling back the onion and asking different questions, and that has been outstanding. So I think that I'm telling you like a really good thing, but to me, it creates opportunities for disparate, previously siloed organizations to work together, because as soon as you ask a question, the answer immediately is going to involve someone else, probably not in your org. Mm-hmm. And so because we did a nice job of having just a few key results in each of these siloed organizations, we found where marketing and inside sales quickly are connected, and we weren't necessarily looking at those connections before. So I went on a tangent there answering your question. But
no, Mike, that's fine. In fact, those things, conversations change, with all through your leadership team and all the way out through your organization. All right, before we leave, just any other final thoughts about objectives and key results, Mike? Anything else you'd like to leave the audience with?
Final thoughts for me are, it certainly made me a better manager. Mm-hmm. I think that I had some basic capabilities that were going all right, but it certainly took me to another level. And so it doesn't matter where I sit on the spectrum of manager. I look at some of my peers, especially through this OKR process, and Allison Mason, she's our marketing leader. She and I have been working together. I watched her respond to this kind of OKR model that we were implementing, and I saw it improve her as a manager. My other peers, my manager peers on the sales side, I saw them get better as managers, even though I felt like some of us were better than others. Nathan Jones, our federal leader, I think he's just a great manager. Mm-hmm. And it still made him even better than he was before. So you can be a great manager, you can be an okay manager, a lousy manager. It's still going to up-level you a little bit if you buy in. So that was a nice eye-opener for me, because the opportunity for us all to improve is always there. You're never really good enough, at least in my mind. Maybe that's me being paranoid. And I saw it make everybody just a little bit better. And at least in our organization, there was no inherently competent OKR type of person. We didn't have anybody like that. Yeah. So the room for improvement continues to grow for all of us. So that's kind of one thought for me. Another thing I'll tell you is it's not as hard as it seems. I feel like some of these folks that are evangelizing OKRs through the books, the Measure What Matters book, and it was a great book, and I don't want to criticize the guy that wrote it. His name escapes me.
John Doerr.
But it was a long book, and it really, I was like, oh my gosh, give me the essay version. I would pay twice as much for an essay on this as opposed to read the whole book. And when you hear the book and it's all these different things, it sounds like it's this really complicated process to get it exactly right and to be perfect at it. But in truth, there's some very basic concepts that you need to follow, internalize them, make them your own, and just kind of wash, rinse, and repeat. And you will gradually over time adopt these into your everyday management style. And I just found that it made me a better communicator of things as well. So anyways, those are some of my kind of rambling thoughts there.
No, that's good, Mike. Thank you. Boy, this was a terrific interview. I've certainly enjoyed working not only with you, but the entire Red Hat team. And more importantly, your group, which is very disparate. You have a lot of different sales motions, a lot of different moving pieces. We all get together every week, and we talk through what's going on, and I think it's very invigorating, and I think it's really truly helping your organization as you all continue to grow and scale. So
yeah, your comment there reminds me of one other thing that I will leave folks as kind of some more free advice from kind of a junior capable person. I don't put myself at a senior level here. I'm working on it. But and this is where I'm going to give great credit. Again, I keep forgetting the name of the guy that wrote the book, Measure What Matters.
John Doerr.
John Doerr, that's right. Because he actually narrates the book. I listened to the audio version of it. Right?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Good. But he narrates the book. And I can remember he said that there's a line in there where he talks about communication to his organization, and that he believes, and he found evidence to suggest that no one in your organization really gets how important the topic is until they are sick and tired of you repeating how important it is. And I'll tell you, that line really did stick with me.
Yeah.
So as you know, because you've been in my meetings, you've been with me through a lot of this, I do that now. I absolutely drill these concepts home, especially there are, I guess, 4 objectives in my organization right now that we're working towards, or 4 key results with sub-common keys underneath them, but just 4 things that we're asking of our organization. And I go through these sessions with my leaders every week, no fail, right? And sometimes it gets to be a little bit drudgery. I mean, we do these meetings that we squeeze them into 1 hour. 1 hour a week is all.
It's compressed. Yeah.
I don't know how many managers I have on the team. Probably about 16, 8 or 9 or so.
No,
then if I get the second level managers, then we're probably at 15, 16 people
16,
there, right?
Right.
So we squeeze everybody into that hour. But we do it every week. And because we do it every week, everyone understands how critically important it is. And my message, my leadership message makes me a better leader as opposed to just the management concept. But this pushes my leadership concepts and what's important to us as an organization up and down the organization. And we constantly get by. And if I just sneak into one of my second level managers' meetings and sit on the team meeting, I hear the same concepts that I want to make sure they're talking about. I don't have to say anything. They're already up and down. They're talking about the same important things that I talk about in my leadership meetings. And of course, I take my OKRs, I get my ideas from above me.
Sure.
And I push them up and I pull them down. So we're really cascading up and down the organization. And of course, that's where the buy-in comes in. But anyways, I wanted to add that thing in because it's that constant drive. You can't take a vacation from OKRs. You can't say, yeah, we're going to do OKRs this week, and then we're going to take 3 weeks off, and the week after that, we're going to jump in, because it has to be an everyday thing.
It does. It does. Gosh, Mike, this was fantastic. I truly appreciate you taking the time this morning to speak with me. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you later this week.